Going back to school is stressful and difficult. There's just no two ways about it. It's just how it is. But let me tell you this, you're going to be okay no matter what happens. You're going to be just fine. A little bit about myself. I have 2 undergraduate degrees and a law degree, so I have gone back to school plenty. And just to make things a little bit more fun, I only have 1 year. I don't have a left ear. I was born without one, and people noticed that when I was in school, so it was a little bit of social discomfort. But I made it through it, and in this video, I've come up with 5 tips to help you guys get back to school and to make it fun and easy. Just make it interesting. Before I start with the tips, it's really important to understand why going back to school is such a challenge. The reason is because it represents one of the biggest changes anyone will ever face in their lives. You're going from a certain lifestyle during the summer or non-school months to a completely different lifestyle, most often in a completely new environment with a new set of people, and that change happens literally overnight. So it's very, very uncomfortable and very stressful. Now, the tips that I have apply to whether or not you're going to high school or going to college, and even if you're going in person or through distance education, if you're getting your education remotely, which a lot of people are doing these days. Going back to school isn't just about the education itself. It's not just about learning and, getting through that next level, but it's also about how to interact and work with people, a wide variety of very diverse people that have very unique personalities. It's a lot about social interaction, which is also a challenge in and of its own. And these tips are going to apply to whether or not you're in college or high school. They're going to be very applicable to both, and I'll call out any differences or any tweaks to any of these tips as we go along. So if there's any changes or anything you need to do differently for high school or college, I'll let you know. Tip number 1, own your own space. Now, if you're going back to college and if you're in a dorm room or you're renting out a bedroom or you're in some sort of co-living environment with other people, find an area that can be just yours. And that can be a bedroom. It can be, if you have a shared dorm room, it can be part of a bedroom. But take that for yourself and make it just the way you want it. Decorate it. Lay it out as much as possible just the way you want it. Put your own personal things in there. Make it yours. And the reason is that this will be your sanctuary. This will be a place that you can come back to, where you can rest, where you can have solitude, where you can have solace, where you can be yourself without the outside world beating down your door. This is going to be your sanctuary. You will be safe here. You will be happy here. And you're going to need that because at some point things are going to become overwhelming. You're going to need somewhere that you can fall back to recover, recharge your batteries. Now, if you're in high school, going back to school, you probably already have a living environment, maybe with your parents or with friends or something like that. And you have your own room or you share a room with a sibling. But again, make sure that your living space is yours and it's just the way you want it. Don't feel like you're being greedy by taking over a few feet or a few dozen feet or however much space that is to just turn it into your own castle, your own fortress of solitude. It's very important. When you have that space, you know that there is somewhere in this world, and it'll always be in the back of your mind, that you can recharge in, you can take comfort and safety in, and you've got that for yourself. And having that knowledge is extremely helpful and very, very stress relieving. It makes getting through the days easier when you're out in class or you're having some difficult interactions with friends or family, or you're simply trying to get through every day and figure out you're going to get your laundry done or what you're going to have for dinner. You know that there's somewhere you can go and just take a break. So that mental knowledge is essential. Make that space and make it yours. Tip number 2, create a routine. Now, I've talked about this in other videos, but creating a daily routine is so helpful in terms of stress management and just making you a happier person. And the reason is because a routine creates familiarity. The more you do something, the more familiar you become with it. And familiarity not only reduces unknowns, and our tendency is always to fill up an unknown with the worst case scenario or something bad. we all do that. But it also eliminates the amount of thought and mental effort you have to put into just figuring out how to get through the day. If you don't have a routine in place, you always have to think about, what do I do next? What's the best way to get this done? Do I have time for my research project? Can I get to class in the next 5 minutes? when am I going to get my laundry done? But if you create a routine and you schedule your days out ahead of time, you can take that off of your plate. You can remove the amount of mental effort it takes just to simply get through the day. So hand in hand with the routine goes scheduling. I read a report a while back that said the most successful students at Stanford, the one thing that they all held in common was they all created schedules for their day. Not only in terms of education, like when they go to classes, when they're going to study, but they also scheduled out their personal time, their rest, their relaxation, when they were going to see friends. So, especially in this day and age, it's so easy to make a schedule. I use Google Calendar for my personal scheduling, and then I use Outlook for my professional scheduling to keep work and personal life sort of separate. But I try to schedule out every hour or every minute of the entire day, including like down when you're going to go to sleep. I put that in. I put down when am I going to do work. When I was in college, I put down when am I going to study? When am I going to read the textbook at home? When am I going to hang out with friends? When am I going to go for a run? When am I going to watch Netflix? All of that was put into a calendar. And that helped me navigate my weekly existence to the point that after a while, it just became secondhand. Like, okay, now I'm going to go get ready for biology. Now I'm going to go get ready for physics. And I didn't have to think about it. And that took a lot of stress off of me. It really did. And don't be afraid to make changes with your calendar. If you try it one day and it doesn't work, make a change. Do something else the next day. Eventually, you're going to find that routine. You're going to sort of fall into a pattern that's going to help you out and is going to make life easier. Now, if you don't start off with a schedule and you find yourself doing sort of like the same thing day after day, write that down. Create a schedule from your pre-existing behaviors. If you find yourself like doing the same thing every day, put that in your calendar. This is what I'm going to do now because that's already working. So you can come at it from two different directions. You can come at it from, I'm going to make a schedule, follow that schedule, or I have a routine partially set up. I'm going to schedule that and then add to it. There's a lot of flexibility in this. And just keep in mind that a daily routine doesn't have to be set in stone. It's extremely helpful, but think of it more of a pirate code where it's a guideline. There's flexibility built in. If you need a few extra minutes here or there for different things, that's fine. Don't beat yourself up if you don't stick exactly to what it is that you have written down or to what you want to do. Don't live by the tyranny of the shoulds where I should be doing this right now. And if I don't, I'm a bad person. Don't get caught up in that. Just use the routine as a general sort of guiding principle of where you want to be or what you want to be doing in the moment. Tip number 3, forget the past. Now, before I get too deep into this one, I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's going to be one of the more fun tips. Now, what I mean by forget the past is whatever has happened to you or whatever you're going through, once it moves into the past and you're not experiencing it in the present, it doesn't exist anymore. It's no longer real. It's just a memory. Now, if there's something that's bad or something that's stressful, something that you're thinking about, that is something that only exists in your head. Did it happen? Yes, it did happen, but it is only continuing to happen up here. It's no longer anywhere else in the world. It's no longer actually occurring to you. So this tip is about trained forgetfulness, trained selective forgetfulness. And I strongly recommend that you train yourself to forget the bad things in life. I'm actually really good at this. It's happened over years and years where I selectively remember only the good parts of things. And the more you do it, the better at it you'll become. Another way to explain it is, let's say there's something like a rough time that's happened or a challenge that was really difficult. I'll just use, perhaps there was a public embarrassment in class. Let's say you raised your hand to answer a question and you were completely off base and oh goodness, that was something that you can't get out of your head. What good does it do you to hang on to that memory? On a deeper level, what you're doing here is you're creating your own reality. You're choosing which memories to bring with you from the past, what memories are going to bring you happy, while at the same time, you're choosing what memories don't do you any good, and you're keeping those out. You're making your own existence better by blocking or forgetting about those bad memories. If someone did something to you or made you feel bad, would you want that person to keep doing that to you for the rest of your life? Wouldn't it be better just to block them out of your memory and dismiss that thought and have it no longer be a part of you, what goes into making you you? I think that's the way to go. So I know you're already thinking about this, but it's the classic white elephant syndrome, where if I tell you don't think about a white elephant, the first thing you do is you think about a white elephant. So if I say, don't remember whatever it is that happened, the first thing you're going to do is remember that. So how do you train yourself to be forgetful? The way you do it is you occupy your mind with things that you enjoy. You fill your consciousness, you distract yourself, you completely immerse yourself in positive things, in positive activities, in experiences that you are actually enjoying. And you can do that. Let's say, for example, you're reading a textbook. Can you put some music on in the background? I wasn't ever very good at studying with music, but some people can. That's a little bit of extra enjoyment while you're reading your schoolwork. Are you done with school? Do you have some free time? Well, don't just sit there and ruminate on the past. Watch Netflix. Go out with friends. Go for a run. Play that video game. It doesn't matter what you do. Just do something. Don't let those thoughts start to get a foothold in your brain. Distract yourself at all times as much as possible. Let's say things become overwhelming. You just can't cope with that memory and it just is really bringing you down and you're really stressed. Stand up. Do something in the moment to change your physical location. Walk outside. Go to a park. Go to a green space. Anything to change your environment. If you can't get out, go to a different room. If you're in one room and you can't leave that room, face the other direction. The change of visual scenery and the change of orientation will provide a little bit of distraction to break that logjam. Here's a corollary. Remember that it's okay to take a mental health day. Let's just say you're having one of those days where you're overwhelmed, you're depressed, you're stressed. Do what it takes to get you back on your feet. If you need to go by yourself down to the ocean, that's fine. If you need to just sit in a dark corner, do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. Mental health days are okay. Do whatever it takes to restore your happiness before you get back into the grind of things. People will understand, schoolwork can be made up, but if you're to that point where you need to be just doing your own thing, do it. That's fine. Don't feel guilty for taking care of yourself because you're the only one that's going to take care of yourself and you have to do that. Tip number 4, talk. Find someone that you trust, a friend, a family member, a colleague, a teacher, and talk to them. If you're having a difficult time, reach out. People are very happy to help you when they know you're in distress, and there's nothing wrong with contacting someone that you know and that you trust. They've got your back. You won't burden them with whatever you're going through. They want to help you. I've been in that position of not only having to reach out to people, but also having people reach out to me. And when I've had to reach out, it was such a relief to talk to someone. And when people have reached out to me, I was so happy they did. I actually felt very grateful that they trusted me enough to share their problems and their concerns. Now, when you talk to someone about something, just the act of talking to someone and getting it off of your chest can have a tremendous amount of stress relief. Just someone that listens to you is the first step in managing the stressful situations. Sometimes people have gone through whatever it is that you're going through and they can offer advice. They may be able to offer you suggestions. If they don't offer any helpful ones, that's okay. You know that at least they're trying. Just take whatever they say with a grain of salt because you're the only one that can decide what's right for you. But reach out to people. We're not solitary animals. We weren't meant to live out in a paddock by ourselves like a horse or something like that. We thrive with society. We do better when we talk to people. Now, of course, there's sometimes you want to be alone, and that's fine. But if something's been stressing you out to the point that you can't get rid of it, one way to sort of alleviate that or sort of break that down is to reach out to others. And just the act of doing that, just the act of talking can mean so much. It can bring so much relief. And that can also take you in directions that you may never have thought of. Other people are fantastic at helping you explore new ideas or seeing things that you didn't see that will help you. And you don't just have to talk to people. I talk to this camera. Just a little something about me. I find that I tend to get a little bit angsty and sort of a little bit sort of grumpy if I don't record these videos every couple of days. I wonder sometimes if video making has become the new form of journaling where we now substitute cameras for diaries. But for me, talking to this camera and creating this YouTube channel does reduce a lot of stress and it makes me have a more grounded, calm feeling. I have no idea why that is. I haven't explored that thought process very much or that mechanism of what's going on. I just know I love this and it makes me feel good whenever I record a video. I don't know why. It just does. So you don't have to talk to people. Maybe get out a camera, start vlogging, create your own YouTube channel. Find a passion or pursuit where you express yourself. Maybe it's through art. I'm not sure. But just get those feelings out. but don't be afraid to talk to people or to electronics, either one. Tip number 5. Repeat this mantra that I'm about to tell you over and over again. Repeat as many times as necessary. You can't wear it out, and the more you say it, the better it works. And it is, I will be okay no matter what. That's, I will be okay no matter what. That's less than 10 words. I think I was counting syllables. I don't know. Now, you'll find that the first time you do this, the first day or first week or whatever that you try this out, it's not going to have much effect. And you'll be like, oh, this isn't worthwhile. This isn't for me. But the more you do it and the more you repeat it, the greater the impact it has and the more calming that mantra will have over time. Now, to add to that, if you say, I'll be okay no matter what, at periods when you're feeling good or happy, you'll associate those good feelings with that mantra. So when you're in a time when things are kind of a little bit dark, you've got a cloud over you, or it's a full-on dam break of emotions, it's going to really come into play. And I'll be okay no matter what. It can be a mental health saver. It really can. I've been using that for years. And it has so much power. Every time I say that, I'm like, yeah, whatever. That rock I thought was in front of me now looks like a pebble. I can kick that out of the way. Yeah, no big deal. I can do it. So just whenever things get difficult, or even when they're not difficult, repeat, I'll be okay no matter what. Use that mantra. You can't wear it out. It's not going to get old. I know I said I have 5 tips for you. Well, I've actually got 2 more because, surprise, I overthink things. That's something I do quite a bit. I overthink things. So tip number 6, don't be afraid to change majors. If you're in college and you are doing something that you don't absolutely love, I mean, you don't have a serious educational crush on this, do something else. Go get that course book out, go talk to your counselor, find something else that you have to do, and that make as dramatic and as drastic of a change as you can. If you think you're going to be a biologist and you absolutely hate it, take a poetry class. If you think you want to be a photographer and you're not digging it, go sign up for engineering, whatever, or make a minor change. It doesn't matter. Just make a change. You absolutely do not want to get stuck in a career or a lifelong path that you don't love. I've done that. I've gone down a few paths before, professionally speaking, that just weren't a good fit for me, but I tried to push through them. And you know what? I never did. All I did was just simply delay the amount of time it took me to change into something I enjoyed more. You're not going to bust through this logjam or this block of, I don't like what I'm doing, oh, it'll get better over time. No, that's not how it works. So change your major. Find something you absolutely adore. Find that pursuit. It's going to make life so much happier. It really is. And don't feel bad about making changes. We're not in our parents' generation anymore where it was commonplace to spend 50 years down at the factory making car parts or shoe soles, that you're not married to your job. And I think that might be a little bit of a stigma that came down from our parents or our grandparents of, well, you're going to stick with the same thing for your entire life. No, that's not how it works. And in 2020, in this current generation, careers are so fluid and there's so many opportunities to change your occupation that you should take advantage of it, grasp it. It's commonplace now to make a lot of course corrections along the way until you lock into what you love. And when you do, you'll know it. You'll feel it. So please go out and seek things that you enjoy doing and change your course of studies. If you're in high school, try to take different electives if that's possible. Go out and explore. Now, if you don't find what you enjoy in college and you're just like, oh, whatever, I've got a degree, it's okay, and I didn't find something that I loved, that's okay too, because you spent a lot of time in the educational realm finding things you didn't enjoy. And if you know what you don't enjoy, that puts you a little bit closer to finding things that you do. So please try many different things as often as you need to. Tip number 7, seek professional mental health. If there's something going on in your life that's completely overwhelming or you would like someone else's viewpoint to help you navigate through it, go out, find that counselor, find that psychiatrist, whatever you need to do. It's fine. There is no such thing as a stigma against mental health anymore. If you come across anyone like a family member or a friend or just anyone that gives you a hard time for seeking professional mental health, they are a Neanderthal. They're talking to you from a place of lack of knowledge or misunderstanding. or ignorance or fear. There's something that's causing that prehistoric notion that if you try to seek mental health, you're a weak person. That's not the case. No, it is so important for you to see a doctor when you need to. What's the difference if you break an arm and you see a doctor for a broken arm than if you see a doctor for an emotional issue that's holding you back? Why wouldn't you? Anyone that tells you that you're less of a person or you're weak if you can't get you through your own personal issues, just give them the hand. Whatever. Go do it. It could be a lifesaver. And I mean that in all seriousness. It could. At the very least, it will help you feel better almost instantly, just to get someone to talk to and someone to give you a little bit of professional guidance. Just as an example of how important this is, the Oregon State Bar Association offers plenty of free resources for helping lawyers deal with mental health issues. They offer guided meditation classes. They offer substance abuse counseling. There's even a hotline that lawyers can call up just to talk with other lawyers if there's something that's stressing them out. It doesn't have to be on the job. It can be a personal issue as well. But the Oregon State Bar takes this very seriously, and they offer so many resources for lawyers to take advantage of when they're having their own mental crisis. So what this means is, in many different fields, not just law, but this is a professionally recognized concern. It's serious. And if you need that help, seek it. Go find that counselor that your school provides. Please go do it. That's what they're there for. They are paid just to talk to you. You are the number one most important person when it comes to mental health. And I encourage you to do anything you can to reach out to anyone or seek any path that you can to restore equilibrium, to get you back on path, at the very least to eliminate the suffering. Leave comments. If there's anything I can help out with, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can. Please just reach out. There are 7 billion people in this world. And I guarantee you, that means there's a lot of folks out there that want to help you and want to see you be okay. Thanks for watching. If you could do me a huge favor, please hit the subscribe and the little bell button, which is notifications down at the bottom. Not only does it help this channel out, but that really gives me a lot of feedback about what you want to hear, what topics are important, what you want to hear more of. And it is your way of sort of giving me guidance on what to talk about. I can track when I get a boost in subscribers versus what topics I've talked about recently, and that will sort of give me an indication of what to chat about next. So please hit subscribe, hit the bell button. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure. Have a good one, and good luck back in school.